Who would have ever thought that at 85 I would be single again? Today we're going to talk about how to navigate our new lives as a single woman and in various situations.
Hey, you couldn't see it coming. You might have thought it, but you couldn't change it. Hey, it's not right or wrong. It's about trying, find the silver lining. Rain and fire, highs and lows, you name it. Cold and warmth, laughs and cries, you have it. The world goes by, and by the time it does, you missed it. You didn't see it, flew by. 'Cause time's not waiting for me or you. You will miss it if you don't catch it in time.
Hello and welcome. This is Sandra Hart. Thank you so much for joining me today. A big hello to all of my community. And if you're new to this channel, I hope you will decide to join all of us on this journey that we are on. Those of you who have followed me on this channel know that over a year ago, I lost my husband. And I've been thinking about flying solo and being alone, I think more than ever, because February the 17th of this year would have been our 39th anniversary. We dated for 6 years, so actually it was 45 years together. And that's a long time. It's a long time to be a couple and to be doing things together, sharing experiences and everything together. Now, I was widowed years ago when I was 38, and I'll put a link to that conversation that I've had about that. But it was a different circumstances. I had children, I had a lot of things going on in my life, and I really didn't have the emptiness and the loneliness that I have felt now because my life was so busy and was so full. But I think when you are over 60 or 50 and you're going through a divorce, you're retired, you've lost a spouse, lost a loved one, it is different. It is different because your children are out of the nest and you have reached the stage in your life where you and your loved one are dependent upon one another. You go on vacations together, you eat together, you watch television together. You are joined at the hip almost because you do everything together. And your lives, when you're 50 or older, are just centered in a small little universe of you and your loved one. And I have found that this time around, it is entirely different. And it's very hard for me to accept one thing, well, probably a couple of things, but accept the finality of it. That he will never be back and we will never be together on this earth again. And even, as you know, I do all of my B-roll, and when I was doing the editing of this film, and I put a little clip of my husband in there toward the end, I was watching and editing, and when I came to that clip, I had to stop because I cried. I cried. Something welled up into me that realized the finality of it, that Arthur and I would never be a couple again. And I think that is the hardest thing for me to surmount. I know that, I am still here for a reason, and that I have a purpose, but the finality that we on this earth will never be together again was very hard for me to accept. And I kind of neglected myself while I was caretaking, and if you were a caretaker of your loved one, you know what I mean. I was just all consumed with his care, and I stopped walking. I stopped exercising. I wasn't eating right. I was basically focused on him. And now I realize that that was really not a healthy thing for me to do to myself, because when I went to get my physical, after Arthur passed, I'm 5'8", and I was down to 128 pounds. And I have not been 128 pounds since I was a teenager. And I realized that what I had done to myself, I had put all of my strength and energy and focus on him, and I really neglected to take care of myself. And when he passed, I was so involved with the things that you have to do, when end of life with someone, that I didn't resume all of those things that were so beneficial to my mental health, to my physical welfare. I had just stopped doing all of that. And if it's a lesson that I can share with all of you, is that if you are in that situation, please start taking care of yourself. And that's what I am doing today. The other week, I talked about journaling and self-care and gratitude. Well, I have started back doing all of those things that were so important to me before I started to care for Arthur, that I had given up. I am back into exercising, back into eating right, back into journaling and manifesting a good life for myself and my family. Believe it or not, I even neglected my friends. I have a few friends that are still here, and I neglected in reaching out to them. And it was such a mistake on my part. And I have started to reconnect with friends that I have had for years, and it's been so wonderful. And I thought, why didn't I do this when I needed it, when I needed that support? It was so important for me to have all of them around me to keep me up and to keep me positive and to be a shoulder when I needed them. My children were there, but a lot of times I felt that I couldn't burden them with the sorrow that I was going through, because of course they had their own lives to think about. I am now realizing that where I am today is a new opportunity to reinvent myself, to enjoy this adventure that I am on, this new path that I'm on, that will give me empowerment and self-discovery. And it's helping me to embrace the essence of who I really am. Being alone at my age is not the end of anything, but it's the beginning of a new me. It's the beginning of new self-discovery and a beginning of opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and reinvention. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope if you are going through a loss of some kind and that you now are journeying this life solo, I am hoping that you will know that you're not alone and that others are going through what you're going through. But it is an opportunity for happiness at the end of the rainbow. Thank you so much for accompanying me on my journey through the loss of my husband and through my solo journey. And I hope if you are going through the same thing, that this conversation that we're having today will let you know that you are not alone And where you are right now is giving you an opportunity to reinvent yourself and to create a wonderful life for yourself while we are still here. Take care, and if you're out there, please know that you're never alone and that you are always truly loved. I hope to see you next Sunday.